You're in the BC Hall of Fame.
I am.
Yep. You took pictures with that. And let's bring in a guy that I'm sure was influenced to go to BC because of the legend of Tom Waddle and others.
Yes, of course.
He's Matty Ice. He's Matt Ryan joining Waddle and Silvy on the Corona Hotline. Matt, how you feeling today?
I'm good. I was hoping to play with some receivers like Waddle at BC, but I didn't have any legends like him when I was there.
Oh, so come on.
Would have been fun.
Who were your receivers back in the day?
I had some pretty good ones. I had Brandon Robinson. Brandon was a good player. Rich Gunnell, really good player. Kevin Challenger out of Montreal. We had a Canadian. He was a good player. Tight end Ryan Purvis. So we had some good ones, and then obviously played with the guy who's the topic of conversation up there in Chicago too. So we had a good little team when I was there.
Well, that's where I was going to go next. Tell us about Ryan Poles. And I want a scouting report on him as a roommate before a scouting report on him of anything else.
He was a great roommate. Clean, he's what you want. Clean, quiet, not staying up all night doing those things. So he was a great roommate and obviously one of my closest friends, but I'm fired up for him, really excited for him. And I think the city of Chicago should be really excited as well.
Do you remember when you two met, and how did you become such good friends?
Well, we got recruited in the same recruiting class, and I don't really, I don't really remember kind of the first time meeting him. I can't remember if it was on a visit or, when we finally got to school there during the summer. But we lived near each other on upper campus our freshman year and just kind of ran in the same circle. And then my last 4 years, we lived together. And so, it was a fun time. And obviously, it's cool to see how things come full circle. From when we met, 15, I guess more than that, almost, 18, 19 years ago to where he's at now.
Matt, I'm sure he had, dreams of playing in the NFL. And I believe he was here in Chicago briefly as an undrafted free agent, had some injuries. It didn't work out on that front. But could you have projected that his career arc would have landed him here in this position for some team in the NFL?
It's always hard to kind of project that, when you're 22, 23. But he was just, being around him and being a teammate with him and kind of living with him for so long, he was always, pretty serious and knew he wanted to, if it wasn't playing, kind of stay in that field, whether it be coaching or talent evaluation. And he started off at BC, as a grad assistant, was there, right after we finished up, and then made his way to Kansas City. And so, I always knew, though, he was one of those quietly confident guys that was just going to grind until, his time came. And that hasn't stopped. The last 15 years, he's been working his tail off to get himself in this position.
When you're throwing touchdown passes, you're going to a Super Bowl. Do you still, for someone that close, like I still picture me with my roommates from college and how we still keep in touch. Are you keeping in touch with him and following his climb, or are you just focused on throwing touchdown passes?
No. Definitely keep in touch. He's, we've got the group text going with some of the other guys that we live with in some of the different spots. And, there's really like a group of 5 of us that are on that text, and we're really close. But, he's always, whether we were playing against him, he's always watching some of the tape and sending me a text message here or there, picking up the phone, talking to him at different times throughout the season. He's always been a great source of support for me. And, I've always tried to do the same for him.
So you said he's super neat. And I'm picturing my apartment in college. I've got a life-size poster of Michael Jordan. We've got football posters of the Super Bowl Bears. Like what is the place looks like? Are you guys got sports posters up? You gaming? What are you doing?
A little bit of all of that. He's from upstate New York, from Canandaigua, New York. And, so he didn't have like a pro team, you know what I mean? He wasn't like a huge Bills guy. He wasn't a Giants guy. And I grew up in Philadelphia. And so, unfortunately I was an Eagles guy. And that certainly changed for me. But, I had some of the Philadelphia step up, but we would be on Xbox all the time and having fun up there at BC and making our way to Marianne's when it still existed, and the mods and all those places. So we had a lot of good nights then.
They shut down Marianne's a while ago.
Waddle still tells me the stories, Matt.
I think I had a hand in having them actually have to be shut down.
Hey, I think we all did.
Yeah.
I think we all did.
You know what? The mentality of an offensive lineman, I think, is very unique. And I was drawn to them. A lot of my friends were offensive and defensive linemen, and I'm sure, obviously, some of your roommates were. I guess the question I'm asking is in baseball, you get catchers that become managers, and you as a quarterback, Matt, you see the entire offense in a different light. Is there something about the mentality of an offensive lineman in terms of team building now on the front office, from a front office perspective, especially for a team like ours here in Chicago that isn't very good on the offensive line? Can he bring a unique perspective as an offensive lineman in terms of building a roster?
I think so. I think, as much as people think the game has changed, and Tom can talk to this, it's still about the, offensive line, defensive line. That's a tale as old as time. If you're really solid up front on both sides of the ball, it gives you a chance week in and week out. And, I think that's been an area of expertise for him, of finding value picks, along the way on the offensive line and defensive line. A lot of the guys that get attention are first and second round picks, but, a lot of the difference that gets made for your teams is in those, fourth, fifth free agent guys that you can pick up that create value to your team. And I think he's out of that, of helping out in Kansas City. They've always done a really nice job of that.
Matt Ryan joining us. It's Waddle and Silvy on ESPN 1000. Waddle and I both had this question for you because here in Chicago, we obviously have Justin Fields, a young quarterback. If you could kind of go back to when you were very young, just breaking into the NFL, what is the most important thing any young quarterback needs as far as his development is concerned?
Are you guys talking about like other players, coaches, or just anything in general?
For a young quarterback who needs to develop in the league, what's the most important aspect of that development?
Well, it's hard to pick one. I look back on my experience and, I was very fortunate to have a guy like Michael Turner behind me, a great running back that took a lot of stress off of what they were asking me to do. In my first 4 or 5 years in the league, he was one of the best, in the league. And so, that part really helped having a really efficient run game. We had some veteran guys. I had a veteran center in Todd McClure, who I played with. I can't tell you how important that was for me in terms of pass protection and taking a lot off my plate in terms of having to make calls and those kind of things. I had a really good support system around me that kind of helps you get to a place where, it's not all on you at the beginning and you kind of gradually get to a space where you can handle more and more. And those two things really for me were most important.
How important also is continuity and stability? And obviously, a guy like Justin's going to be in his second offense in 2 seasons. It seems like if you can come into this league as a quarterback and have that continuity and stability early on, you have an advantage over many.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I was fortunate. My first 4 years were with the same coordinator. First, 7 years with the same head coach. Those things really help out. One of the things I think that he has going for him is that, while they're seeing change now, he's probably going to have, an extended period of time with the new guys coming in. Right. And you hope that gives him a chance for some of that stability like you're talking about for the next couple of years. And I thought he did a nice job this year coming in, making some plays in the little that I saw, and wish him the best as he moves forward.
Yeah, life in the NFL is a whole lot different than it is at the collegiate level, even for guys who are accomplished like yourself and Justin.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, it's the level of competition that you go against every week in the NFL. It's relentless, and that level of preparation that it takes. is taxing, mentally, physically, emotionally, all of those things. And, being able to handle that, 17 weeks out of the regular season, and then you're hoping for another 4 in the playoffs. It's a grind, and having a good support system around you, both in the building and outside the building, in my opinion, really help you get through it.
Matt, your buddy Ryan Poles' first order of business is to hire a head coach. Today, Dan Quinn will be in the building up at Hallis Hall. Obviously, you have experience with Dan Quinn. What could you say about, scouting report wise for your former head coach?
Well, I love Dan. Some of the best years of my career were with Dan, and we had a good amount of success. I think he's a guy who learned a lot from that experience here in Atlanta. I thought he did an outstanding job in Dallas this year. We went against them; their defense was rolling. And, I think he's a great leader, has guys playing hard, sets a really good culture, guys with energy, playing with, great energy, passion, those kind of things. He's awesome. And I think he's hard nosed and tough and is a football guy. And I've always, appreciated coaches that had that kind of mindset.
We've said, as we've dug deep on some of these guys for the Bears, that the one thing that Dan has seemed to do as a defensive guy is surround himself with good offensive people.
Yeah, I think that's huge. He's obviously been on the defensive side of the ball, the bulk of it, all of his career. Obviously when you're the head coach, it all falls under you, but definitely has had the emphasis on the defensive side of the ball. But I think that's important for him, is finding wherever he ends up, the right fit for him from an offensive coordinator position. And, a guy that, he'll trust to put whoever he's working with in a system that, he feels like can win. And, I thought he did a nice job of that for the most part while he was here in Atlanta.
All right. Before we let you go, did you watch the Bills Chiefs game? And does the overtime rule still have a sore spot with you?
Yeah, obviously I would take a different overtime rule. Might add a ring, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I did watch that game. It was a hell of a game and a lot of fun to watch. But we'll see what happens with it. I'm sure they review that every year. The rules committee reviews that every year, and hopefully we can find something that gives everybody a little bit more fair chance.
Do you have an idea? We've suggested, hey, why not play the 10-minute instead of walk-off touchdowns? Just play 10 minutes, and whoever wins at the end of the fifth quarter is the winner.
Yeah, I get that for playoffs. I think I understand some of the not trying to make the game too long as you got 17 of them throughout the year. I do get that. I also think it's a different deal when you get to the postseason, and there's so much hanging on it. So I don't know. I don't know what the right mix is. I played in college when you just kept going. You lined up on the 25 and it didn't matter. You kept going. You were going for 2, and I always had fun with that. I'm not sure if that's the most fair way to do it, but it was entertaining.
We were also reminded that between the accomplished veterans like yourself and the exciting young quarterbacks in the league, it looks like the NFL is in good shape at that position.
Yeah, I really do. I mean, you see guys playing later into their careers. What Tom has done down in Tampa the last 2 years and what Aaron's done up in the North. I mean, I guess we both know it too well. You guys up there and me down here, that you can continue to play at a high level. But then you look at a lot of the young guys coming in, the youth movement, a lot of really talented players coming in. I think the league's in a good spot right now, and there's a lot of really good players at that position.
I'm not sure if you're aware as we let you go, but the Bears are coming to Atlanta. So I think you two, Ryan Poles, and yourself, Matt Ryan, need to sort of share an apartment together before the big game between Bears and Falcons down in Atlanta for old time's sake.
Listen, we used to play a lot of basketball together, a lot of Xbox. This isn't the first time we're going head to head.
Right.
And it's like when you're going against your brothers or something like that. You try, you're trying as hard as you can to make sure you beat them. And I'm sure he'll be doing that. He knows I'll be doing that.
Was he one of those big guys who thought he can go on the outside, or would he do the dirty work on the inside?
No. He's got some good hands. He's got some good touch, could shoot, light on his feet for a bigger guy, really light on his feet. he's talented and was a really good basketball player. We would have a lot of fun doing it, but he also could go back to the basket and had some nice post moves.
Did you guys participate in the intramural league?
We did.
Did you win it?
I think one year. No, but
really?
they kind of banned us from doing it again. I think we got in a little trouble from the football from the coaches up there. But no, we had like 3 different football teams in it, and our team did not end up winning.
With the help of Mark Chmura, I am proud to say that was the only thing we won.
Wow.
We won a Hall of Fame bowl against Georgia. But yes, we won an intramural championship thanks to Mark Chmura. Yes.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's right up there with your greatest accomplishment.
Of course. Matt, thank you so much for your time. It was great to catch up with you, and we'll hopefully catch up with Ryan Poles at some time as well. But thanks so much, and best of luck. Continued success.
All right. You got it, guys. I appreciate you having me on.
There you go. There's Matt